Most people bake meatloaf in the oven. Today we're wrapping it in bacon and smoking it to see if we can make the ultimate comfort food. Today we're making a whole meal. We're going to start with our bacon wrapped meatloaf. So we have 2 pounds of our fresh ground beef, 80-20. I'm going to use 80-20 because if you use anything leaner than that, it's going to dry out pretty quickly. We're going to smoke this for a couple hours, so we don't want to be too lean. So what we're doing bacon wrapped meatloaf. We've got a bacon weave that we're going to put the meatloaf into when we're done putting in all our ingredients in. And we've got, like I said, 80-20 ground beef, 2 pounds. We've got a medium onion diced finely, 3 cloves of garlic. We're going to throw 2 eggs in there. We're going to use some panko breadcrumbs and some whole milk. And then we're going to do some ketchup, Dijon mustard, and salt, pepper, paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, and some dried thyme in there as well, just for fun. So let's go ahead and get started throwing our ingredients in. We've got our ground beef. We're going to throw our onions in while they're here, right close by to me, so we'll throw those in. 3 cloves of garlic, a cup of regular panko breadcrumbs, coming up. You know what we're going to do? I think we're going to put our panko breadcrumbs and our milk in a separate bowl and let that sit for a little while. One cup of panko breadcrumbs, half a cup of whole milk. I like to use whole milk. We don't generally drink whole milk. We usually drink the 2%, but that's what I grew up drinking. I love milk though. I even love whole milk. Half a cup of whole milk. Just gonna give that a little stir and let that kind of soak. Okay, set that aside for now. Back to the main ingredient. And then we need 2 eggs. I'm not so fancy. I can't do it one-handed. We need 2 tablespoons of Who's Your Sister sauce. This is pretty close to the recipe I grew up on. Mom made meatloaf pretty regularly. Don't believe she ever made a bacon weave. I'll have to ask my brothers, but I don't remember that. 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Good old ketchup. Two tablespoons of ketchup. Clean up after myself so Mrs. Smokin doesn't get upset. And then we need a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Teaspoons of kosher salt. 1, 2. And we need 1 teaspoon of black pepper. pepper, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. This kind of gives it some flavor, but also some color. That nice red color. Smoked paprika. And then we need a teaspoon of onion powder. I'm not quite sure if the onion powder and the garlic powder are really necessary since we've got onion and garlic in there. I'm going to go half a teaspoon. I'm a big garlic fan, but I'm not a huge onion fan. That's, whoa, well, we lose half of it to the wind. That's our onion powder and our garlic powder. This is where Mrs. Smokin and I differ. She likes onion, but not so much garlic. I like garlic, but not so much of the onion. I didn't quite get that full. So we compromise. All right. And then half a teaspoon of dried thyme. I got thyme. All right. And then we're just going to mix it all up. We're going to get in there with our hands and we're going to get messy. So we're going to get one of these because this one ain't big enough. And we're going to get after it here. We want to put our breadcrumbs in. They've been soaking for about 5 minutes. Almost forgot them. Not sure why we soak them like that. If anybody knows why you soak your breadcrumbs, let me know in the comments. I never usually do that, but that's what the recipe calls for. So I did it, but see, then it gets kind of, you know, like that. All right, then we just mix it all together real good. You don't want to over mix your meat. You don't want it to get too dense. Just enough that you get everything mixed in there real good. You know, I just thought of something. I think my mom used cracker crumbs. Don't remember if she used saltines or Ritz crackers or if she mixed it up sometimes. But I believe she used what she had, and what she had was usually crackers. Usually saltines. And 2 pounds of meat, you're going to have to work it in there pretty good, but especially those clumps of breadcrumbs. I just don't like that. I think that's going to be something I take out of my recipes, is soaking it with the milk. Doesn't give it a chance to, it gets all clumped up before you even get it in with the meat. I don't like clumps of breadcrumbs in my, although when I think about it, Mom's meatloaf had little pieces of crackers in there every once in a while, so what's the difference? You know, I talk about my mom's cooking a lot. I considered her a professional cook. She didn't do it professionally, but she was good at it. And that's where I learned just about everything I know about cooking. If she were here today, I'm sure she'd tell me all kinds of things I'm doing wrong, but in a loving way. All right, I don't want to overwork this. I think that's pretty good. So next thing we need to do is get it into a loaf. And we're just going to form it in a loaf. Let me get cleaned up here and get a pan, and I'll be right back. So what we're going to do, I got a loaf pan here. It's a little smaller than I wanted, but it'll settle out when we get it out on the bacon. But let's get this into the pan. I've got it lined with parchment paper just so that it's easier to handle when we transfer it to the bacon weave. As you can see, it fits in there pretty tight. Actually, it's not bad. I want to get it in there so that it Doesn't have any air pockets, if possible. It's a big old chunk of breadcrumbs. I'll try and break those up a little bit. There's probably more in there that I don't see, but that's okay. All right. Okay, what we need to do, we're going to use this rack so that it's easier to transfer when we're done smoking it. But for now, we're just going to lay that on there like that. And we're going to drop this. We're going to drop it. We're going to gently place this on the weave. That stays pretty clean. Okay, and then, like I said, that's pretty thick for smoking, but it will, we're going to flatten it out just a hair, maybe, if we can. You can see already my weave isn't big enough, but that's okay, because it doesn't have to go all the way around. We're going to fold our sides in. I'm going to have to get some toothpicks, I think. Because we're going to flip this over, but we want this bacon coming up the sides. Yep. We definitely want that bacon coming up the sides. So let me get some toothpicks. I don't know if this is really going to hold it or not, but we'll give it our best try. Just have to remember they're in there. The tricky part is going to be flipping this over, so that it doesn't just explode when we do it. There we go. I think we'll go ahead and pin this in several places, just for starters. I might pull it out once we get it on there, but I don't want anything falling apart on me. Okay, now, toothpicks are going to make it a little more challenging. There we go. Get our parchment out of there. All right. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Now, we just, we're going to put a little bit of seasoning on there. All right. Got a little bit of Traeger beef rub, molasses, and chili pepper. Just a little bit, because I don't know that I've ever smoked anything without having some rub on it. Not a lot. I'm not going to coat it down like I usually do, but all right. So then we just need to get it in the smoker. We'll do that as soon as our smoker's up to temp. We'll get it in there. Okay, we've been about 10 minutes, 15 minutes waiting for the smoker to get up to temp. It's up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit with cherry pellets, and this was sitting a while, and the seasonings kind of, the rub kind of soaked in a little bit, marinated a little bit. So we're ready to get this on the smoker. And like I said, we're going to get this on top of the beans. Alright, we're going to put this right on top of these beans. Hopefully that closes. Alright, might take a little longer. That's up kind of high, but it's still in there. It's on the sweet spot side of the smoker. So We're going to let that go about 60 to 90 minutes, and we're going to put a glaze on it at the end of that and let it go another 20 or 30 minutes. We're shooting for an internal temp on that meatloaf of about 160, 165. So we're going to let that go and we'll check back. All right, let's go ahead and make the glaze for the bacon wrapped meatloaf. And we're going to feature my orange sriracha barbecue sauce that I made in a recent Sauce Lab video. Check that out if you haven't seen it. All right, so what we need is half a cup of the orange sriracha sauce. It's going to pretty much finish off my jar. Then I have to make another one. Half a cup. You can see I still haven't made labels. It doesn't last long enough to make labels. Starting to sprinkle a little bit. There we go. Get the rest of that to make it an even half cup. All right. Love that sauce. All right, and then we need 2 tablespoons of ketchup. 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Whoa. 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I think I've told you about this caddy before, but I tell you, it is so handy. Keep all my usual suspects in there, and I just bring it out every smoke, and it's very handy. Got it on Amazon. I put a link down in the description if you want to get one. I am an Amazon affiliate, so you know, I'll get a couple pennies on the dollar if you order through my link. Tablespoon of Who's Your Sister sauce. We desperately need this rain, so I am not complaining. You probably can't tell that it's raining, but it's not really a downpour yet. And we need a tablespoon of butter. Good old butter. And a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Dijon mustard. Teaspoon. 1 teaspoon. There we go. You might say, Mike, that was a little more than a teaspoon. Well, I don't worry about getting too exact. All right, and then we're just going to simmer this over medium heat until it thickens up, and then we're going to glaze that on the meatloaf. And we'll keep adding it every 20 or 30 minutes or so. I hate to open the, probably put it on in just the last 20 minutes to cook, because I hate opening the smoker all the time. Lose all your heat. All right, we'll go simmer that and we'll get it on the smoker. Okay, it's been about 90 minutes on the bacon wrapped meatloaf. So we're going to go ahead and put our glaze on there. I don't know why I said it that way, glaze. But let's go ahead and just glaze up our meatloaf. I haven't seen it. I don't know what it looks like yet. Oh, it's starting to get there. It is starting to get there. I haven't even checked the temp on it yet. I need to do that. Bacon is starting to crisp up like we want. Holding together real nice. All right. Let's check the temp on that. I put 2 probes in there. 118, 109. So I put 2 probes in, temperature probes, one on each end. And we've got 109 on one end on the right side and 118 on the other. So it's got a little ways to go. I am going to step up the temperature to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we'll let it go probably another 30 minutes at least. So like I said, we're shooting for 160 on the internal temp. So I'll turn that temp up and we'll check back. All right, just about ready to pull the meatloaf and the beans off. Thought I'd make myself a drink, just a simple bourbon on the rocks. We're going to use Woodford Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Just a simple drink. It's been a long day. You know, we made a lot of stuff. I don't think we need to make one more thing. So we're just going to have ourselves a Woodford Reserve on the rocks. All right, we'll set that aside. We're ready to get this stuff off. It's been almost 3 hours that the meatloaf and the beans have been on. The eggs are done, and let's get them off. See how they look here. Oh boy, that looks delicious. Oh wow, look at that meatloaf. Is that something or what? How about them beans? Oh yeah, look at that. There is a nice, you can tell that the juice from the meatloaf had dripped into that. Let's get those eggs. And our deviled eggs. Oh wow. That is one heck of a spread. Look at that. Nice crispy bacon. The glaze tacked up real nice. Our eggs turned out beautiful, even though we didn't have a piping envelope, piping, whatever you call that. It turned out nice. And the beans, oh, let's get these stirred up. You can definitely see the juices on the top there. Oh boy, nice. This, I wish you could smell this. There is such a cacophony of aromas. It is savory. There's some sweetness in the aroma. Oh boy, smoky. I cannot wait to try all this out. Oh my goodness, that is fantastic. Okay, wow, where do we begin? We begin with the meatloaf. Let's get those toothpicks out of there so we don't bite into one. We won't be cutting on that side. There's some in here, but I can't see them. We'll find them. All right, let's get going on this. Let's cut a little slice on the side. I'm going to turn it so you can see it. Oh boy, it smells so good. Let's get another slice. Wow. Look at that. We even got a little bit of a smoke ring. I don't know if you can see that. A little bit of a smoke ring on there. Not much, but the bacon kind of insulates it a little bit, but oh wow. That is fantastic. Gotta have a bite here. Let's get going. Should have taken it off of the rack here. Okay. Here we go. Mostly bacon. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That is so good. So many flavors. I mean, it's tender and juicy, and it's got the bacon flavor, obviously, that smoky bacon, and the tender meatloaf inside with the onion and the green pepper. It's a great, that cherry wood puts the cherry pellets puts a nice mild smoke on it. It's nothing too harsh, but it comes through. The smoke is definitely there. The texture, the bacon is crispy, which is awesome. The glaze is tacky, which is what we want. And the meatloaf is tender and juicy. And everything that we're looking for. That turned out awesome. That was delicious. All right, let's try a little bit of the beans here. This wasn't just a meatloaf cook. I had barbecue beans going underneath catching those drippings, and smoked deviled eggs going on the side. We'll take a closer look at both of those in their own videos too. Smoke. I think it works. Oh, let's drink to that. Good old Woodford Reserve. That tops it off nice. Wow. All right. Well, that does it for our backyard meal. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again to Smokin' and Drinkin'. And remember to, if you like this, you got something out of it, hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe. It really helps us out, and it's not hard to do. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't get bugged by YouTube or by me. It just helps me build this channel. And if you want to be notified when we release a new video, we do it every Sunday morning. Hit that notification bell. As always, Prost!